This is a story that has hit the news wire, and you know, this is an author that has come out to say that the reason why Trump fights so much with black people is because he is afraid of them. And this is an article that came out November 23rd, 2017 in the Inquisitor. And actually, I saw it in Newsweek, and a couple of other venues have published this story. But I'm going to go ahead and let you hear what this author has to say. It says Donald Trump is afraid and awed by black people. And he's the author of Art of the Deal. Okay, let me go ahead and play this video.
Back to our top story tonight, the president's pre-Thanksgiving tweet storm targeting LeVar Ball, the father of one of the UCLA basketball players who was arrested for shoplifting in China. The tweets are really classic President Trump, responding to a perceived snub with words of vitriol and degradation. He has proven time and time again that he really won't let these kinds of feuds go. Join me now, President Trump's biographer, Michael D'Antonio, author of The Truth About Trump, and Tony Schwartz, ghostwriter of The Art of the Deal and contributor to The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. And Tony, I want to start with you and your reaction when you read what the president wrote this morning about LeVar Ball. What is it about LeVar Ball that bothers the president so much? Is it what he said, or, as some are alleging, how he looks?
Both. So, first of all, his father is a tall black man, and I think Trump is half awed and half frightened by black people. And his only way of dealing with them is to attack them. And on the other hand, I think he has a zero tolerance for any criticism of any kind. That's why he goes after anybody who says virtually anything about him that's negative.
Say, awed and afraid of black people. That's a big statement right there. Based on what?
Well, I mean, I watched him. I mean, he was awed, unequivocally awed, during the many times I saw him with, members of the team that he owned in the USFL, and when he sponsored fights, prize fights. I think he had this kind of ambivalent relationship where he wished he could have been an athlete like they were, and on the other hand, if he felt fear, he always felt aggression, and aggression was and a need to put them down.
You know, Michael, you see him in these battles. Will he ever stop fighting? Once he picks an enemy, and we've talked about how he does a certain kind of enemy shopping, will he ever let up?
Well, he does shop for enemies. I think what Tony said was correct, that there are these dual motivations on his part. On the one hand, it is racial. On the other hand, he's very thin-skinned. But I think that we have to notice who he responds to. And he will go after someone who he can frame perfectly, often for his base. So in this case, this is yet another member of the black community, also someone connected to the world of sports. He initiated a lot of the furor over the Pledge of Allegiance, the Star Spangled Banner protests, because it was black athletes. I didn't see that he ever actually went after any of the white players who knelt in solidarity with their black teammates. So there is this desire, I think, to find the right person to go after who fits a certain template. He doesn't go after little guys who happen to be white. I've noticed that. He kind of leaves those folks alone, and if he can pick out a target from him and whom his base may also resent, that's the person he'll go after.
During the campaign, I mean, he went after Jeb Bush plenty. I mean, it was low-energy Jeb, and, Rand Paul, he said, was funny-looking. There was lying Ted Cruz, and then, of course...
These were people he was running against for president.
Okay, but it was in a setting where he talked about them, and they weren't African-American, so that was, a bit of another thing. I want to ask about the Trump brand, if I can, because we learned tonight that the Trump organization is severing ties, or being severed, with the Trump Soho, a hotel.
All right, you heard that, ladies and gentlemen. Trump is just a straight up racist. But, as far as him fantasizing about that black athlete and what they can do and them having abilities that white men don't have, that's really a typical thing among white men. That's why they are always highly critical of black men, because those black men have abilities and can do things they can't do. It is deep seated jealousy. White men have always been jealous of black men. It's a fact. It's a fact. Trump tweets against LeVar Ball have crossed a line, even for Trump, according to the fallout from Ball's full interview with Chris Cuomo, as reported by the Inquisitor. Trump tweeted that LeVar was ungrateful, but I just want you to know they only use that term ungrateful on black people. They don't say it to no one else, just exclusively to black people. You will never hear them talking about another white person is ungrateful, an Asian person is ungrateful, a Hispanic person. It's only exclusively used on black people. And a fool after Ball balked at thanking Trump for helping to get LeVar's son and two other UCLA basketball players out of China after an alleged shoplifting incident. Now, mind you, there were two other ball players with Leangelo. Trump is not demanding that they apologize. The parents come and not apologize, but thank him. It's just LeVar Ball he's targeting. According to The Hill, the California representative John Garamendi viewed Trump's tweets regarding LeVar racially charged ones. But, all of them are, even when he was dealing with Frederica Wilson. If you remember, he went to Twitter and went on a full attack against her. He also did this to Maxine Waters. All right, anybody black, he always goes on Twitter and goes on a full attack. All of the NFL players. But you notice after Eminem did his rap against Trump, he never took to Twitter against him. He won't even go on Twitter against Roy Moore. So you can clearly see he has a pattern of exclusively going after black people, and it is racist. There's no other way to define it. And I thought Don King was friends with Donald Trump. Donald Trump compared LeVar Ball to Don King, calling him the poor man's version of Don King, but without the hair. But I thought that was his friend. See, about right now, Don King looks like a complete fool, but I'm sure he doesn't see it that way. Now, Trump's Art of the Deal co-author agreed with Tony Schwartz, telling CNN in the attached video that Trump is both half awed and half frightened by black people. Tony said that Trump's only way of dealing with them is to attack them. The interview notes that Trump chooses a certain type of person to attack. And we know this. I'm going to go down a little further because it just goes into exactly what was said on the video. All right, this is Trump's tweet on Roy Moore. This is the person that has been accused by multiple women, white women, mind you, of sexual harassment and groping and all kinds of crazy mess. I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
The president's remark from the White House breaks weeks of silence, really, on Roy Moore. But interestingly, the president has used Twitter to sound off on basically everything else, everything except this scandal. So let me just run through something for you. These are some of the topics the president has tweeted about instead of tweeting about Roy Moore. Okay. His predecessors and the blame he gives them, Hillary Clinton, her policies on Russia, and then his endorsement for her to run in 2020, the haters and fools criticizing his relationship with the Russians, progress in North Korea and Syria, Kim Jong-un's height and weight, good wishes to the veterans in the Marine Corps, the Vietnam War, economic and security achievements, his itinerary in Asia, Melania's plans to visit a zoo, the tax plan, a welcome back to Senator Rand Paul, attacks on the New York Times, CNN, no shocker there, cheers to Sean Hannity's ratings, and a tease for Fox and Friends, again, no surprise. He attacked Democrats, Al Franken and his scandal, Jeff Flake, who he needs for the tax bill, his approval ratings, a crackdown on gangs, the jobs report, oh my gosh, there's more, his own performance, the border wall, elephant trophy hunters. He wonders aloud if UCLA basketball players will thank him, then says, "You're welcome," when they do, then goes off on one of their dads repeatedly, the NFL, yesterday's turkey pardon, and yet not one single tweet on Roy Moore's scandal.
Well, he's a white male. But if you notice a pattern, Trump is the president. Okay, he's the president. I know it's painful to even still stomach that, but he is. Nothing on that list of tweet should be anything he should be concerned about. Not one thing. You know, at this point, do anybody even know what Trump's policies are other than white supremacy? Because I don't even know what they are. He has done such little work since he's been the president. I don't believe the man even have a policy. He's not getting anything done. He spends more time on Twitter and golfing than anything else. But absolutely nothing is being done on a regular basis by this man. He's by far the laziest president to ever take office. But yeah, it's true. You know, he never mentions the white players that are kneeling. Like I said, he never came out against Eminem when he did that rap against him. He won't come out against Roy Moore. You know, so there's been white people that have attacked him openly, but he doesn't take to Twitter. Black people do or say little to nothing to Trump, and he'll go out there and get a big controversy started with black people online. And she left out a lot of things. You know, she didn't even mention Puerto Rico. All of the things he went back and forth speaking out against Puerto Rico on Twitter. And this is just Trump, y'all. This is just him. Like I said, I saw his racism long before he was president, back when he was just nobody, you know, somebody up in New York. That's it. But he has, in the past few days, made statements of LeVar as being an ungrateful fool. Like I said, ungrateful term only used on black people. Certain Twitter users feel Trump has gone too far. You know, his son already apologized to Trump. That should be enough. I'm seriously, that should be enough. Trump just wants everybody to lap on his ass. And there's a lot of black people that are not down with kissing this man's ass. And they're not going to do it. There's a lot of very ignorant white supremacists that got this attitude that black people should be grateful for slavery and grateful for their oppression. It's a big joke. All right. Don't ever thank these people for a goddamn thing. They don't deserve anything. They're not entitled to anything. And they should never get that from the black community. And Trump is included. This is a big joke. This man is a clear, raving racist. He goes on racist rants. And that's all we're looking at. That's all we're looking at. We're just looking, when we see Trump's tweets against NFL players and Colin Kaepernick and Marshawn, all we're looking at, Marshawn Lynch, I'm sorry, all we're looking at is a white supremacist taking to Twitter. And we're not looking at anything else. Trump is like any other caucasoid in this country. He's walking around with that white guilt. And what they do is they change their guilt over to hatred for black people. It's disgusting and it's sick. But that's what it is. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And don't forget to hit on that notification bell. Peace, family.